Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to add Java configuration to bootstrap the dispatcher servlet class. So now the approach we are going to adopt to is that I'm going to do all the configuration using either a Java configuration class or with the help of node annotations. In a normal web applications, we could have bootstrap an external servlet using WebXML, but WebXML is not something that I'm going to go ahead with. So entire bootstrap of this dispatch servlet will happen in a Java configuration class that I'm going to write now. So let's do that. On IDE, I'm going to create a package called com.test. So under this package, I'm going to create a file, a new Java file called application initializer. Okay, so this application initializer implement a class which is called web application initializer. Web application initializer. There is a method. There is a method on startup method we can generate. Generate, implement methods, and on startup method. Okay. Now, in order to bootstrap the dispatcher servlet, I'm going to use the class annotation config web application context. Annotation config web application context. So this could be context. New annotation. I have taken the annotation config web application context and I initialized it. I instantiated this class. Okay. Now I have to register the servlet registration dot dynamic servlet registration equal to servlet context dot add servlet. Here this will be MVC and new dispatch servlet. I'll explain this code. And the next step will be servlet registration dot set load 1 and servlet registration dot mapping add mapping. So this URL. So here what I have done is that the annotation config web application context. So let's get hold of that, I instantiated it. So we call the constructor including object of it. This will also have to be registered with the Spring configuration that we want to write. So once we have cleared the object, the next step is to bootstrap the dispatcher servlet. Okay, so I did bootstrap the dispatcher servlet, so that will be done with the servlet registration dynamic. Okay, so now to this dispatcher servlet instance we are going to tie the context, so which we have created on line number 16. Okay, so now if you observe here that servlet registration dot set load on startup set to this one, it means whenever you register a servlet inside your application, you need to tell the container that this servlet has to be instantiated and initialized on priority. This load on startup number is going to help the container do that. The default value for this is -1, and if it is set to -1, then container can initialize this as a lazy loading procedure, but we don't want that, so we set that priority to 1. Another thing, we get the servlet registration. So and add mapping, and let's understand what this mapping is. So I already explained in the MVC architecture that every request that comes will come with the URL pattern. Now I want to specify all the requests coming to this project and coming to this application with a specific URL pattern, which is /. So that's why I define with the add mapping. It's completely our choice, but I just kept it as a simple /. Okay, so that's what we have done as a part of the first configuration. So the next one will be add the context configuration class under the com.test. Application config. Okay, I already wrote the code. I will explain how does it work. Okay, this is the code for the application config. So this is the class that will hold all the configuration for our application with respect to the Spring MVC features that we want to use as part of the application. And also, let's go to the application initializer. So here I am going to context.register application config class. Okay, so here we had to tie up the Spring configuration class with the annotation config web application context. So we will do that. Let's grab the context object, say that register, then we feed the application config class to it. Okay, so I did this. So in application config.java file, this is the configuration annotation that comes from the Spring framework context package. Additionally, we also have another annotation that we want to put into place, component scan, which is the package. So then this takes the argument called base packages, and so I just did com.test. So this component scan is an annotation which is going to help specify this application, that whatever the classes that we want to we find inside base packages com.test. Okay, all of them have to be created. So all of them have to be created as a Spring beans and have to be made available during the application runtime. So it is a way to tell Spring MVC framework. Okay, and this application config going to extend a class which is web MVC configuration support. This context configuration class needs two configuration. One is a resource handler mapping, and second one is defining JSP view. Second one is JSP view resolver. So the first method is which is called add resource handlers. It's already part of the web MVC configuration support that we have extended on this class. So what will so this method helps us to tell Spring MVC that whenever you are picking up the specific files like CSS, images, you have to pick it up from the particular part. So now I understand this point, and project structure you are looking at left inside the IDE is going to be little different from the structure that actually gets generated in the var package. So we need to tell the Spring framework whenever the var is created, you need to pick up the CSS and images from the appropriate parts. That's what this method is going to help us to do. So let's go ahead, and so the next part is the internal resource view resolver. JSP view resolver method returns the view resolver. So this is the interface internal resource view resolver. From the view resolvers, and I'm going to parse the each and every static files and then this index files. So by using this set prefix method. I hope you understand, guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye.